So, Chris, this next question comes from Piyush from India. And many, many years ago, I did not buy Titan
Oh
stock,
gosh. Here
Chris.
we go. Of course.
But I do have a Titan watch, which I wear every day. So I have a lot of friends in India. And we have this question from Piyush from India. So, how to choose your first bids for manual bidding? So, Piyush writes in, how do you determine the max CPC bid limit for manual bidding for a keyword when starting out a new campaign in a new account? So, basically, if you want to run manual bids, how do you know what to set your bids at if you're starting out a new campaign in a new account?
Boy, this is a really common question. I actually have two different answers on this. First answer is going to be based on how fast you need to move on this and how much time. If you are very cautious and you have time to kind of just mess around and try some things and you want to be very cautious and not waste any spend, this is a very thin margin, then in that case you should always spend less than you think. So if you're just throw a guess out there, typically a good guess is $3. Most industries can be within that $3 range, and you can probably get clicks. Now, if you're on a really tight margin, then take that and cut it in half. Say $1.50. Okay, start there and then start to bump up as you start to see, are you spending the full budget? Are you showing up? Stuff like that. If you're not, then keep bumping up from there and get more aggressive. Option two is this: if you are on a short timeline and you need to see if this is going to work, you're launching a Christmas campaign and it's like November 1st, and you don't have a whole lot of time to mess around. You need to get some data and start rolling through here. Then go heavier than you think. If start with that $3 bid and then double it. Start with a 6 and then pull things down. If you are overly aggressive, you're hitting top position like 70% of the time. Pull it down. So that's usually how I base things. And if you're neither one of those, you're not in a hurry, and it's also not super thin margin, then go with $3. I'm just going to throw a number out there, Jason. I mean, because people ask this question so much, it's so hard to say. Just throw $3 out. Most industries can get something for $3, and you'll know right away. If you listen to this show, you're going to hear a lot of information about metrics and things like that. You'll know if that's too high, that's too low. You'll know pretty fast.
Yeah, Chris. Sir Isaac Newton, he had his law of physics, and his third law of physics is that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Thank you so much.
And
Okay.
if you put pressure on me, I'm running the opposite way, and you're never going to see me again in any aspect of my life. I
Oh.
don't do pressure,
Oh.
and
What?
if you don't have time to figure out your bid through maximize clicks running for 2 to 4 weeks, then I don't have time for you. I don't want to play. I don't want to play games with $1 bids. I don't want to play games with $3 bids. I don't want to be the guy with an amazing opportunity running a mesothelioma account, and when the bids are going to need to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and then
Right.
go from $1 to $2
To $2 to 3. Yeah.
for 3 months, and then lose a client because we didn't get one click.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a way to do this, and that is to set your campaign to maximize clicks.
Okay.
Forget the limit. That's what I do. Forget the limit. Oh, should we
Okay.
click that limit button? No, you can't click it anymore. Moving on. Don't put the limit in place. Just put a budget, a daily budget that you're comfortable with. Let the system do its thing for 2 to 4 weeks. Don't pressure me. You'll get an equal and opposite reaction. I'll run away from you. You'll lose the best Google Ads manager on the planet. Because if you just give me 2 to 4 weeks, we'll know what the cost per click range is. We'll see where Google decides to bid us. We'll see what that comes in with the impression share loss due to ad rank. We'll see where that comes in with the absolute top percentage and top percentage columns. And we'll know where we're at with that cost per click. And then we can, in a very informed way, adjust the bids from there manually. I think it's a
Wow.
great 1-2 strategy. And
Okay.
if you don't know what your cost per click should be, I think it's a great place to start. That said, Chris, if you have some experience and a skill set, you can know that mesothelioma won't be $1. You can know that maybe the starting bid needs to be $50 on day one or $100. And so if you have some experience in that regard on different industries, You don't have to do the automated bidding, maximize clicks, because you can kind of know where you're at each day and go, oh, we bid $20. We lost out over 90% due to ad rank. I'm not going to bid $22. I'm going to bid 40. So you can know that if you have some experience, but if you don't, or it's a brand new industry, there's a beautiful strategy of maximize clicks and let it run for 2 to 4 weeks with a daily budget you're comfortable with. You'll get the most clicks possible for the budget. That's what the strategy lays out. And then you can get more nuance from there with manual bids. Hard to argue with that.
Yeah. You know, after all these 333 episodes, we're not going opposite directions. We're not drifting apart. We're heading in the same direction, but we're just in different lanes now. So many years later, on some points we're together. We're in the same lane together.
That's fine, Chris. That's fine. You have to do what's good for you. Yeah. And I'm not leaving manual bids. I'm not leaving exact match. Of course I'm not. I have certain industries where I only run exact match and manual bids. I have certain industries where I run exact and phrase. But there's a lot of cases where I am realizing the environment that we all live in now, and I'm trying to grow in that regard as well. So, but listen to how boxed in I feel like maybe we were in the past. To think that it's controversial to run maximize clicks for 2 to 4 weeks with a daily budget you're comfortable with, what in the grand scheme of things, why is that's not so bad? You know what I mean? Like, that's not the most unautomated thing to do. You just turn it back to manual. You're getting some data. I think back in the day we had been pushed and kind of hit so hard with bad experiences with automated stuff that we just ran in the other direction, like Newton's third law. But then we ran into a brick wall because things are changing these days. But again, Chris, I have seen better performance, and I'll tell you this. In the past, I would set up maximize clicks, and I would be unhappy with the performance. These days, I set up maximize clicks, and I go, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. I know what to watch out for. I know that it could pick out some keywords in this campaign that I don't really think are going to get a lot of volume. Then all of a sudden they do. I know what to look for. But I think for this specific strategy or this situation, it's an amazing way to kind of know where you're at with the minimal amount of stress or making the wrong decision, trying to figure it out yourself early on.
Okay.